Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Chrono here, and welcome back to the channel. So another week has passed, another maintenance has passed. May have another update video for you guys today. But before we jump to that, the usual spiel. If you guys want to keep up with the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like these videos, toss them a like. Lets me know you guys actually enjoy this content, so I will keep pushing it forward. Either way, all the shilling done. Let's roll the intro. So today's update video should be fairly short, shouldn't be too difficult. But in case it's your first video you've watched of mine, you're wondering why am I sitting here listening to this guy read information that I could definitely read on my own. You're absolutely right. Head over to PSO2.com/players. Usually the day before the update. I normally give us some time just in case things get changed up or anything along those lines. But usually the day before the update, maybe a little bit earlier. Head over there, scroll on down. Everything important is gonna have a little red tag next to it here. Today, all we've got is update details, which is going to be the update for the week, and as well as revisions to SEGA Corporation's privacy policy. They mentioned this. We'll go over it very, very briefly. Just as SEGA Corporation policy has been revised, details of the revision adding to pre-existing contents and additional purposes of use, additional contact method effective April 8th. If you're curious about it, you can check out the actual link, and it shows you where it was revised, what has changed, so on and so forth. It's not that important for us, to be honest. I just wanted to throw it in there. Maybe pad out the video just a tad, just a little bit. I apologize, just a tad bit. Anyway, so it is the 7th of April, and we have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful new content here. Major target suppression mission, Luther, False Conqueror, Manifest. This is basically 4-man hard Luther. Apparently, Malignant Ruin Luther is way more difficult than the original. I don't know what they've added to him. Probably, I don't know, they gave him steroids or something along those lines. But when they originally talked about him, they mentioned his fast, slow, and time stop abilities. As in, he's probably going to weave these abilities back and forth and piss me off beyond belief when it comes to trying to block his attacks. He has a lot of ground-based attacks that have multiple ticks. So those of us who tend to like to spam blocks, not always the best. If you have like an iframe, that might work really, really well. It's always difficult to find out what has a single block frame that can be blocked versus what has to be iframed consistently, so on and so forth. So it'll leave a little bit of trial and error. I'm curious to see how powerful these specific abilities are. Usually you can kind of just get away with people willy-nilly attacking whatever they want, but I'm assuming you're probably going to have to hone in on a very specific one. Everyone's going to have to kind of agree on which one to attack. Make sure to break it, because if you don't break these nails, he hits the entire arena. Basically, it's usually like a quarter of the arena is each nail. If you don't break these nails, he hits that entire quarter of the arena. You want to have a safe spot. So we'll likely see the whole nails thing pop up again, where there's like 4, maybe another 4 that are intercardinals and 4 that are cardinals, something along those lines. But it's again Ruin, Malignant Ruler, and Luther. So we're likely going to see some other things mixed in as well. Show off a little screenshot of what looks like everyone dying. Yeah, this person dead there, that person looks dead there, that person looks dead there, this person looks like they're up, unless that's Luther. We'll have to see. Of course, new weekly tasks. Basically, they moved this into the weekly tasks. So if you want to get your 20 star gems a week, which is such a pathetic amount, they really should put transfer passes in that like weekly thing. I feel like that would be so much more worth it. Even if it isn't a whole bunch of them, but getting them every week would be really, really nice. But yeah, this here, a new title task, of course, for completing it. Partial route update for invasion shifting sands. Basically, the LTQ is getting a shift in the route itself, so nothing too crazy here. It's not the LTQ that I personally prefer, but still actually pretty solid LTQ, all things considered. Definitely a lot more worth farming, in my opinion, during the PSO2 day bonuses. New equipment, rings, and augments being added in. So we have the Legend 4 series Lexio being brought into here. We're definitely going to do a video covering just how powerful Lexio is when we have the proper calculations. TLDR, it's likely going to be a bit stronger than our current strongest weapons available, as is usually the case of this. Well, it's Legend 4. It's kind of a weird spot because essentially when Legend rarities tend to come out, they tend to be the strongest option. But being they are the support option in most situations, as this one mentions here, the Lexio series is a potential that grants follow-up attack stocks to you and your party members when a set amount of damage is dealt to enemies. When you attack an enemy with stocks built up, 1 stock is depleted and you recover some HP while executing a follow-up attack. After 4 follow-up attacks, you get increased critical hit potency for a set time. So critical hit damage increased for a bit, which is pretty awesome. I don't think there's a buff that increases your critical hit damage outside of the add-on skill. So you love to see that. So we have 12 critical hit rate buff, and then we have Lexio critical hit damage buff. So if you're someone who plays more supportive, those are kind of your go-to weapons overall at the moment. 12-2, of course, and then the ready Lexio. So this is a bit speculation, but my guess is the way that balancing goes is going to be our strongest weapon for a little while. And I don't recommend everyone jump over to it. I recommend this be more of the support option, if anything else. So that's why the role that you play, no matter what class you're playing in your group, this is kind of like your upgrade time. 2 new types of skill rings being added in. Basically, it's just skill rings that work based off of number of hits. So this is Count Amp, which is potency, and then potency increase for 20 seconds when your attacks hit enemies 30 times. It doesn't say specifically that you can refresh this buff. I'm assuming you can because it doesn't say that it goes on cooldown afterwards. So as long as you get at least 30 hits every 20 seconds, which I feel like is very doable for a lot of classes, this ring should have infinite uptime, in theory. And then there is the follow-up ring, which this one specifically says a cooldown. When you hit an enemy for every 30 times, you recover 1% HP and 4% PP every 10 seconds. Now, this has a cooldown built into it. That's why I was like, this one doesn't have a cooldown, so I'm assuming it can be looped, but this has a cooldown. So it'd be pretty powerful if every 30 attacks you gained HP and PP. That'd be kind of crazy. But I digress. Moving on, we have the first actual new augment that we want to pay attention to. The other new augments that we had were kind of side grades, not main upgrades. This is actually our first like proper upgrade. So we have Telefia. We need these items here, and Ultia Dominas. So Ultia Dominas are likely going to spike in price for a little bit. I would not recommend purchasing them at their spiked price. The new content will drop Ultia Dominas. Old content dropped Ultia Dominas. So if they have spiked, just let people who are trying to gain the market play their market game. Don't buy into it. Just run the new content, run whatever the LTQ is. You'll get plenty of them there. We also have the limited time enemies, the Idol Rappies being added in. I'm not sure why on the 7th and not when the collab scratch came out, but to each is their own. Also Mission Pass Season 55 is being brought out. We have Bouquet, we have Box Heads, Marmello accessory, looks like Bloom Feather accessory from base PSO2, I believe. And the armor, a new build parts and creative space, including the furniture color variants for Elegant Table C, Elegant Bench C, Fireplace build parts, and more. Looks like the Gothic out stuff is getting color variant versions. That's pretty dope. Like that a lot too. We also have the SG scratch ticket being updated as well, with the Convaris quintuplets outfit, as well as this outfit here, which reminds me of base PSO2 episode 5. So pretty cool stuff there. And I believe that's it. Outside of that, oh yeah, there's also the voice revival AC scratch being added in as well, where you can test out the voices directly in game. Since we haven't had a voice scratch in a long time, in case you haven't been around, they made it so you can test out the voices in game, so you find out exactly what you're going after, so on and so forth. So pretty cool stuff there, but that's mostly it for our update. There's not a whole lot going on. Well, I say that's not a whole lot going on, but there's not a whole lot to cover. We've got new rings, we have new augments. We're gonna be going over the augments you really should be going after. I recommend most people go after. Best in slot knows best in slot, but as far as I see people who are best in slot, they understand best in slot is what I'm saying. I know there's actually a best in slot, like individual part. It's very confusing, but people who play best in slot, they understand best in slot gearing. So that's basically what I'm saying here in this situation itself. But as far as what I recommend for most people, it's not always going to be the best things. As far as skill rings, these are kind of dope. I foresee classes like Gunner getting some use case out of this. We now have an alternative. Assuming this can heal you while you're at max HP, we have an alternative for the turnover ring, which I would like to see that a lot actually. Being able to have this proc once every 10 seconds based off of hit count sounds fantastic, and I really want to see that be a thing that's normalized. Bouncer will be able to utilize that. I know Gunner will be able to utilize it to some extent as well, because their hit counts tend to be very high, very quick. So just a couple of ideas as far as classes. So, but that's really pretty much it. If there's anything that I personally missed, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Like if you enjoyed the video. Like I said beforehand, subscribe if you want to keep up with more. As always, thank you to the channel members as well as our Patreon members. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my friends. Peace out.